Peace. Not sure where young black boys are going to learn how to become men in this country right now. But we have an epidemic of emotionally unstable black men, from what I can see. And if you don't think it's true, then just log into any one of the social media platforms and watch us arguing and raising our voices at each other and insulting one another and arguing with women, arguing with our former friends and business partners. It's just a mess. We're a mess. And it's a lot of feminine qualities from what I can see, and it's probably indicative of the fact that we were raised by females. Primarily in my household, I come from, basically a single mother. My father was around, but, not really involved like that. But I don't make any excuses for him not being around. I'm taking care of him to this day. But, I'm saying a lot of the households that we come from are ran by mothers. So in that, we can become overly emotional because a mother really can't teach a boy how to become a man. And this is clear by the state of black men today. Again, a lot of us were raised by mothers or grandmothers or aunties, and we're emotionally unstable.
That is a true statement. But I want to say shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the spirit. It says, matriarchy have destroyed the Israelite man. And that's definitely a true statement. As this Jake, he made mention of certain examples of what take place in the so-called black community, Hispanic and Native American community. Because when you look at the typical Jake, they behave like women. Okay, but Jake wouldn't know how a man behaves because Jake don't really grow up with their fathers due to, the indiscretions of the relationships of the parents. Now, when you see Jake, for the most part, they're very aggressive, emotional, angry, which those particular traits do have masculine qualities to them if you know how to use them in a masculine way. But when you argue just to argue, like prime example, right? In Boondocks, they have what they call a nigga moment. You accidentally steps on a Jake's shoe, then he gets offended, and before you know it, it becomes a situation that's out of control. Then aggression comes, then, yelling and screaming, fighting, being combative. Those masculine traits are often carried out in feminine manners because the fact Jake do not know how to talk through situations where they don't know how to rationalize or use proper problem solving skills. They don't know how to use that because growing up in a household when you have a single parent, you're seeing her up and down, you're seeing her mood swing, she's on a rag, she's beating the hell out you one minute, next minute she's praising you. You're seeing different men come out and you're seeing her emotional instability or her emotional state changes day to day. And when you see her at her lowest point, she just like a shit show. And the man picks up on that. And before you know it, he acts like a woman. Okay? He's emotional. He's offended by everything. Certain things hurts his feelings when certain things that's supposed to, correct you or to make you a better person, it oftentimes comes off as an offense because, nigga, you disrespected me. Somebody just telling you, pull your pants up, man, speak up right. But yet Jake takes that as a form of disrespect. Nigga, you dissing me. Now I gotta kill you. That's emotion. That's the vibration that Keisha pushed on Jake. Because coming up in these single parent households, this breeds the emotional instability of so-called black men, Hispanic and Native American. This is why Jake oftentimes become gangbangers. This is why they're in and out of the prison systems. As they mentioned, the statistics of a single parent household being a mother breeds prison babies, or more than likely the kid is to drop out of school or go to prison if he's not led by some type of authoritative figure. Now they did the same research and they mentioned a single father taking care of kids have the same success rate as a two-parent household. So let that tell you there that I mean, do the math on that. Proves that the men are needed in families, but in this day and age, were often pushed out due to the indiscretions of the mother, because this matriarchal society pushes feminism. Prime example, I was in a work conference today, and the field that I work in, of course, is mainly women. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got men in there, but the men that work in these particular fields, they're not alpha males or sigma males. You know, they're more beta eccentric, cater to the woman, or take a back seat to the woman, and a lot of them are homosexuals. So I asked myself, how the fuck did I get into this field? But the reason why I took this position is because when I got injured on a job about 2 years ago, it was a work from remote position, so I didn't have to really go into the office for real, and that was good for me because it ain't nothing but fucking women and hating ass niggas and shit like that. And when I looked at the job description, which I don't have to justify shit or give an explanation, but when I looked at the job description, I thought it was going to be more on the line of expectations, like, expecting pools, expecting homes, restaurants, stuff like that, shit men do. But it turns out to be a position when you're dealing with health and all that other stuff. And, a lot of times women lead those roles. But the lucky for me is I don't have to be in office like that. I'm 95% of the time I'm working by myself, so it's good. But most women that hold jobs, like women that have most jobs, that women is really useless. Most jobs that women has is useless. There's really no merit. Like you don't need a real estate agent. You don't need a realtor. You don't need a woman to be a broker. Okay, administrative work is cool, and you don't really need nurses or anything like that, because if you had maidservants or midwives, you wouldn't need a fucking nurse. Okay, if you knew how to heal yourself, you wouldn't need a doctor. In a lot of professions, and mainly men are doctors, women are nurses, which a nurse is just a lower level doctor, which proves that it's unimportant. You don't fucking need nurses. You need midwives. Another thing too, female judges, right? Just totally backwards. They judge based on the emotions. So the typical jobs that women have is really unimportant. Now, I'm not saying that women don't contribute to society in many ways, but things are supposed to be put it in a delegated role. Things are supposed to be properly in order. So when I was at this conference today, and it was doctors and shit up in there, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is all matriarchal based. Okay, it's hypothesis, which is an estimated guess and theories. The whole time this nigga kept saying, oh, this is a hypothesis, or this is a theory. So back of my mind, I'm like, okay, if it's theory, then why the fuck are we even dealing with it? So it's just a bunch of information that's based on conjecture and hypothesis, which means nothing at the end of the day, because the Lord puts the spirit in man and woman to act out a particular role. Okay, you have all these different personality types, but at the end of the day, it all goes back to the spirit. Okay, Esau's biggest fuck up was integrating everybody, confusing everybody to believing that women have rights over men. Men are supposed to be these soft beta males. That's not how it's supposed to be. Hence, you have Jake, which has been bred in a society that's designed to destroy them mentally, physically, spiritually. And it was all done by design, by the way. Okay, so anyway, long story short, he mentioned that he grew up in a single parent household. Yes, father was around, but he wasn't involved. But he still had some type of male figure in his life to some degree, because, that breeds some type of stability. But just living under a mother, a sister, little brother, that can be hectic, man. Especially when your spirit is not designed for that. But oftentimes, you're going to have more women in the family than men, because women outnumber men 7-1. Okay, that's in any family. I've never known a family that have had more men than women. Mainly all fucking women, with a shorter percentage of men. Okay, most men that have over 5 kids, majority of them are girls. Like if you had 13 kids, I'm guaranteeing you 9 of them gonna be girls. Okay, because like I said, men are a rare commodity. Women are more common. Okay, but matriarchy has destroyed the Israelite man, and this is why you have gangbangers. This is why the prison system is overcrowded with Black and Hispanic and Native American males. You know, this is the reason why Jake has the most domestic violence rate. You know, it's just Jake is very emotionally unstable. And, you know, a lot of it is due to the system. All right. So I looked up the definition of a matriarch, and it says a woman who is the head of the family or tribe. And that's a problem. Like that movie, Woman King or some shit like that, which is based on the, what is it called? The Dahomey tribe or something like that, which is up to debate whether they were Jakes or Hamites. I think it was a mixture of both, but the Dahomey tribe, mainly being women warriors, which that shit is off. But in some cases in them African tribes, you did have women that were warriors because, I mean, shit, the men, even though they are the patriarch, it's just like the female lioness. You know, she protects the, she protects the male lion if push comes to shove. Even though he protects the pride, she goes out and she hunts for the food. She does all the heavy lifting because, shit, she's the servant. You know? But it says here, an older woman who is powerful within a family or organization, a domineering matriarch, hence Big Mama. Okay, Big Mama was the head of the matriarch. This is why you had the sisters, they were out of order. You had the boyfriend that was out of prison. And then even though the oldest sister, she was married, she was a lawyer, she was bullheaded. You couldn't tell her nothing, which ended in the divorce, which ended the husband popping her cousin, and they end up getting a divorce because she was too strong-minded, too bullheaded. And that's not cute for all you women out there. And another thing, too, while we was in this conference today, it was a lot of women because they did like this personality-based assessment. You got the perfectionist, then you got the one that's like the caregiver, then you have the boss, then you had the one that was the what do you call it, the loner. Also, you had another one that was just called actually I got the paper in my backpack, my book bag, and then also you had the romantic. And most of the women was asking questions about the boss because, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the peacemaker. But most women was concerned about being the boss because in a spirit, they know that they're not supposed to be the dominating factor of any relationship outside of the kids. So a lot of them war with that nature of being elevated into power because in their spirit, they know they're not supposed to have power. But Esau lied and told them that's the case. So therefore, they take these conflicting roles to work. And then they often end up in a situation that's contradictory to their nature because they really believe the lie that the servant has told them. So that's why I said it's a bunch of fucking confusion. Okay, women are not bosses. You are not a girl boss. You ain't a boss bitch. You ain't none of that. Okay, that's not who you are. You are meant to be a servant, a wife, a daughter, a servant, man, okay? And you are to serve the man and you are to take care of the household. Okay, if you want to be a boss over something, be a boss over the kitchen, over cooking, over taking care of the household. That's the area where you thrive in. Instead of teaching Jake to be the fucking beta male, how about you be beta women and not alpha women, you know? Just sickening, you know? But anyway, Salakia for the long rant. This is the book of Mark 3, and I'm going to start at verses 24. Now it says here 25. No, 27. Matter of fact, let's start at 23. It says, and he called unto them and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Right now, you have a division between men and women. Okay, you have women that desire to be better than men. They want to be elevated over men, and they think they are men until they play a man in sports and get fucked up. Then they start screaming that, well, I'm a woman. You can't do that. No. Equal lefts equals rights. Equal lefts equal rights. Okay, you're able to buck up to men. You're able to work the professions we work. You're able to voice your opinion and be bullheaded. Then that means you can get dealt with. Okay. But it reads here, it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And there's a completely dominating factor between men and women. Divided. They hate one another, you know. They disagree. They are in disagreement with one another when the Most High made them to be in agreement. Okay, we're two total different sexes, but we can agree on things. As much as we disagree, we are supposed to connect with one another because we each complement one another. But see, Jake don't see it that way because Jake grew up with their mother. Every time you hear a nigga rap, oh, I want to buy my mama a house and a car. But what about your dad? Fuck my father, nigga. He wasn't there. Well, have you ever questioned your father as to the real reason why he was pushed out of the family? You ever thought that your mother could have been a lying whore or a fucking adulteress, lying, conniving, backstabbing demon, talking back, talking shit? And you may say, well, that ain't no reason to leave. No, man, the men can only take so much. And if you are Sigma or alpha male and you have some type of backbone, you ain't gonna stand you ain't gonna stand up to a bitch talking shit to you. That's enough to drive any man away. But society teaches that's not manly to walk away from a woman that's being abusive to you, man. Okay? But by nature, you be ready to smack the shit out of her because you ain't finna raise your voice to me and you not finna condescend to me either. You know? So Jake got it all twisted. Fuck my father. No, your mother's the reason why you ain't got a father. Unless you don't know who your father is, unless the nigga just walked away because he didn't want you. Now that do happen, but in most cases that I've witnessed and observed and researched, most of the time the fathers were pushed out of the house, whether it was by Esau or by Eve and Esau, okay? And meaning that the behaviors of the fucking black woman, because she does enough to destroy our whole household, man, to the point you don't want no dealings with the kid. You know, you want to see your kid, you got to pay child support. You can't see your kid unless you're coming out your pocket with some damn money. Ain't no real man gonna stand around for that. And unfortunately, the kid suffers. But you know what? Like Scarface said, he said, the only thing I got in this world is my word and my balls. So sometimes you got to be like, you know what? It is what it is. Unfortunate. This is why we need the kingdom. But it reads here, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Going into a regular household, man. Man, woman, the nuclear family. You have constant turmoil of that house, you know, and you have a man that wants his son to grow up a certain way, and I've seen a video on it. But the woman wants to push a feminine vibration on him, but the man doesn't want that. Then eventually you're going to come to a head, you're going to disagree, and then somebody's going to leave. I've seen a situation like that when a dude didn't want his son, I forgot what it was, but the woman wanted him to, basically everything that the father wanted, the mother went against it. And the son started becoming rebellious. So at the end of the day, it's just like, all right, what can you do in this situation? You going to force your way on it and end up in jail, where you going to say, you know what, it ain't nothing you can do. You know, like, okay, I want to take my kid to this particular school. I want him to eat this particular food. She, on the other hand, well, why you? Nah, my baby don't want to eat that. Nah, you always want my baby to do this and this and this. Now it's her baby. To the point, you just like, you know what? I can't deal with this no more. I'm out of the picture, man. Okay, it was a similar situation with my father and mother. I remember like yesterday, I was 13 years old. I was on the basketball court. I was out there hooping with a couple of guys and shit. And then my homeboy at the time, he's like, hey, he's like, hey, bro. He said, your pop's out here. I said, what? Because, hey, my father, man, that was like, man, it was like Christmas, it was not one moment that I didn't want to be around this man. No matter what anybody said about him, I knew in my spirit this is where I needed to be. You know what I'm saying? Even at a young age. And my boy like, hey, he like, hey, bro. He like, hey, priest, your pop's down there. He coming over here. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So I see my pops, man. I, go up to him. We talk. He like, yeah, man, I want you to meet somebody. I'm like, all right, shit, what's the deal? So he brought his fiance over to meet me, And, him and my mother ain't been together in years since I was a baby, So this is 13 years in the making. So all of a sudden I walk to the front of the block and I meet his fiance. And all of a sudden this woman comes out. And I'm not talking about his fiance, but I'm talking about my mother. She comes out just losing her goddamn mind. Like losing her mind. I'm like, dude, what the fuck wrong with you, man? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to vibe with my pops over here. Like, what's up with you? And that moment, I really realized why he was not around the way he desired to be, And I have a similar situation with my kid, I mean, she just losing her goddamn mind. And my pops was like, you know what? He said, you know what, man? I ain't got to deal. He said, I'm not dealing with this shit no more, He said, ain't nothing against you. But he said, I can't deal with this. The fact that I'm trying to be here and be providing and incorporate you into this life. But she's not going to allow it. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of understood where he was coming from. And I was upset, but I never, I never took it out on him because I understood it even at a young age, So that discernment was put in me as a kid, And, I pray that the same thing is stowed to my seed. But then again, it's like it is what it is. Who really gives a fuck at this point? This place is getting ready to be destroyed. The Lord is going to reveal everything and he's going to, make the chips fall where they lay. But just to say that, this is why men oftentimes leave because just the woman is unfucking bearable Hence why Jake grows up in a single parent household and why niggas hate their fathers. Me, I never hated my father. Never. Even when they tried to turn me against him, it was physically impossible. It was mentally impossible. You know, it wasn't going down like that. I'm like, this my pops, man. I'm like, I got this man's name. Like, fuck nah, that's my man's, man. To the dirt, I don't give a fuck what he do. That's my father. I'm gonna respect him. I'm gonna love him. And, you know, that's just what it is. I don't give a fuck what nobody say about him. Now, he's in the spirit world today. But, you know, it is what it is. So, a lot of Jakes don't have that mentality. A lot of Jakes just take the narrative of they slut mama. And before you know it, they the next Kia boy. They crash outs. You know what I'm saying? They're in prisons, you know, gang banging, all this other dumb shit. And I've made my mistakes, you know, I've had my issues, you know, I've done my bullshit, you know, before I came into the truth. You know, I've had my spurts of learning and all this other stuff, you know, because when you grow up under a woman, shit, you do tend to gravitate towards their tendencies, especially if you got one that's belligerent, angry all the fucking time. That rubs off on a kid, you know. So it's safe to say that we as Israelite men have had emotional tendencies. I mean, shit, I admit it, I did have them because look what the fuck I was around, you know. But you don't know that until somebody points it out to you, you know, and you do better. It's not to say that men don't argue, not to say that men don't get aggressive when need to be, because I mean, shit, we're men. We're supposed to have that trait within us, you know, to protect the tribe. You got to have a certain level of aggression, certain level of anger, certain level of mentalness, you know, level-headed. You have to have these things in order to be able to protect the tribe too. You just got to know how to use it and how to delegate it. Vice versa. You see Esau, Edom, I mean, outside of these soy boys, because the so-called white man is a momo any fucking way, but the ones that appear to be somewhat upright, you notice Esau is kind of level-headed. You know why? Because he has his father and his mother. He's not overly emotional, even though Esau is emotional by default, but he's more level-headed than Jake. You notice when you bump a Edomite, he ain't gonna fight you. He like, excuse me, he's going, I'm sorry. You know, he's gonna apologize. He's gonna show some type of etiquette. Versus, I remember we was in a park after this, after they had some shit called the Bud Billiken Parade. We in the park, we dancing, having fun. One cat stepped on this dude that I was with, gym shoes, bro. And you know, white Air Force Ones in Chicago and Milwaukee is like Jordans. You niggas worship that shit out there. So this one nigga stepped on this dude, you know, stepped on his shoes, and homie apologized. He said, I'm sorry. That nigga wasn't hearing it. He just stole on dude. Bow. Whole fucking park gets shot up. All because a nigga stepped on another nigga's shoe. Emotion. If that was Esau wouldn't shut up no damn park, man. He wouldn't have done no shit like that. Moab ain't gonna shoot up no park because you stepped on his shoe or anything like that, or you end up bumping to him, or you look at him a certain way. You know? But those are the curses. That proves that we're the Israelites. And it says here, no man can enter to a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man and then he will spoil his house. Okay, and that happened during the time in the 60s of the women's lib movement, the feminist movement, when they strategically displaced the Israelite man, got him out of the house, and basically government and Section 8 and WIC and welfare and child support became the primary provider for the black woman. Okay, so they overthrew us through political means, systematic means, you know, certain laws, political laws, whatever you want to call them. You know, these things were used to overthrow our families, and this is the reason why you have a separation between us and the woman now. And Eve totally bought into it. Okay, which she's gonna pay for that. Let's go here to Sirach. Is it 3? Yep, let's start at Sirach 3. And I'm going to start at verses 7. It says, he that feareth the Lord will honor his father and would do service unto his parents as to his masters, because your parents are your first masters outside of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, honor thy father and mother, both in word, indeed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. Now, you are supposed to honor your father and mother. You are supposed to honor your mother. Okay. But overall, you know, there's a balance. And it reads here, it says, for the blessing of the father established the houses of children, for the curse of the mother rooted out foundations. That's right. And this is what you're seeing in the hood, a bunch of outrooted foundations among Keisha. This is why you can see the black woman on a dating site I got 3 kids. You got to be making $180,000. You got to be 6'3", brown eyes, light skin, waves, dark features, 6-pack, drive a Mercedes Benz on 22s, have a condo, 2 houses, and a studio. When the only thing she got to offer is 3 kids, some used box, and maybe some child support. That's it. But that's a outrooted foundation, man. You see? For the blessing of the father established the houses of the children, but the curse of the mother rooted our foundations. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father dishonor is no glory unto thee. So when a nigga say fuck his father, hey, that ain't no glory to you, man. That don't give you brownie points with the Most High. The Most High does not look favorably upon that. I don't give a damn what your father do. Okay, he's still your father. You still come forth out of his loins. You're still his tribe. Okay, this is why, I don't understand Jakes that hate they. But now I get it. You got some assholes out there, and you may feel some type of way about your pops, but this society pushed that on you. Okay, because was our fathers perfect? No. Okay, our fathers grew up in the same predicament. Shit, my father, he grew up thinking another. I don't think he grew up being named after a whole nother man. The man that I'm named after, or slightly named after, which is my auntie's father, which my grandmother married, which my grandmother she was real, she was something else. I'll put it to you that way. Lord rest her soul. She's in the spirit world. Funny, cool lady, but crazy. But basically, my pops is not even named after his real father. He's named after my auntie's father. How wicked is that? You take on another nigga's name. So those are curses. That's the curse. And it reads here, it says, glory not in dishonor of the father, for the father's dishonor is no glory unto thee. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father and the mother, and dishonor is a reproach unto the children, okay? So in many ways, you're not supposed to, reproach your parents. I mean, yeah, you can rebuke them, but I mean, shit, we're in a screwed up captivity, man. This captivity totally hit us on all sides. The iceberg can totally hit us, man. I mean, from every point, from financially to who we are, to the family structure. I mean, we've been hit on all sides to the fact of religion, everything. We've been told the Lord really handed it to us in this captivity. And this is why it's such a miracle and a blessing to have this truth, man, because according to Esau, we supposed to die here. All right. Isaiah 3, and I'm going to start at verses 12. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. Yeah. This is why niggas are Buddhists. This is why niggas are all into all manners of wickedness, man. Okay, because for the simple fact, women and children, which that child really goes into Esau. But even then, the woman and the child is over the Jake men. Like they say, everything in this planet Earth have a semblance of protection, but the black man is the only one that have no protection. Okay, a dog have more rights than a Jake. Okay, a fucking roach have more rights than a so-called man of color, man. Okay, the kids run a household, the woman runs the household, Esau runs them. Prime example, right? Go to a household and say, look, I need to eat before your kids. You're literally asking for World War III, because the average black woman don't think that the man is supposed to eat first. No, the kids got to eat first. That's not in the scriptures. The man eats first. The man gets his plate first. He's first. The man, you're supposed to open a door for the man. He's the king, okay? Prime example, let's just say if it was a situation that went down where you had a burglar in the house and you want to be Mr. Gentleman and you open a fucking door for your woman and all of a sudden she gets grabbed up. Then what? She gonna protect you? No, man, this is why the men go first. We are the protectors, so we go first. Okay, in all situations, he eats first, he drinks first, he gets his plate first, he gets catered to. Okay, that's the real patriarch, which patriarch goes into the dominant order of male men. And this world is going back to a patriarchal society, man. Okay, all this matriarchal bullshit and these lame ass careers that these women take on and the shit that Jake has been indoctrinated with, that's getting ready to be a thing of the past, man. All right. One more precept here. This is the book of Job 14. And I end it. Job 14:1. It says, a man that is born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble. Yeah, Because like I said, the single parent household destroys Jake. This is why you go down the street and you look at a Jake for too long, you give him more than a 3-second rule, you probably gonna have a fight on your hand. Because in his mindset, you trying to size him up. Let Esau look at a so-called black man, hey, Jake ain't gonna do shit. You know? But it says, but he cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. Okay? Yeah, so it's fucked up, but these are all the curses. You know, but anyway, I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Habashai. Lord's will, you will edify until the next lesson. Shalom. May the Lord be with you, brothers. Shalom.